Hi, Matt Stern here for Bachmann New Model Monday Live once again. And today I'm joined by somebody who many of you probably recognize already from numerous live streams from our friends at Train World, our very own Doug Blaine.
Good to be with you this evening, everyone. And thanks for having me as the guest, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know if you really qualify as a guest since you also work here, but
It's some combination of the two.
yeah.
It works.
Anyway, so Doug is our Vice President of Licensing. Tonight's special, if you saw the previews on social media, is all about some of our licensed product ranges that we have. Why don't you first give us a little bit of a overview of what you do?
Surely. So, as Matt said, I am Vice President of Licensing. And licensing is an important part of our business. It's a great way to get people who are maybe not model railroaders to start into the hobby, get them interested in a set with something that they may have interest in as a different idea or concept or from a movie or a book, a TV show, what have you. So of course, most of you are familiar with our Thomas and Friends products. So that is a great license to transition people from their initial interest in trains as they, have enjoyed the Thomas and Friends programming, and then you get them interested in maybe it's wooden trains, then into electric trains, and then hopefully they will either continue as true fans for Thomas and Friends or also transition into full model railroaders. That's just a really wonderful thing for us to do with Thomas and Friends. Other licenses that we currently have are Boy Scouts of America. We have Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, Norman Rockwell, and who am I forgetting? Anybody?
And we've got Elf on the Shelf now as
And
well.
don't forget the Elf on the Shelf. Absolutely, that's a new set coming out for fourth quarter of this year. And of course, we have great licensing relationships with other, real railroad companies as well. Most particularly Amtrak. And we've had a great relationship with Amtrak for several decades now, and that continues today.
Yeah. So for this episode, we're going to be focusing on the not so much on the prototypical railroads that we have licenses for, but on the some of the other interesting and exciting brands that we work with. Let's begin, I guess.
All right, sounds good. Let's start with Boy Scouts of America.
All right.
We'll show you a set we have in the line now. There's probably many former scouts watching, but and you'll know that there's a model railroading merit badge for the scouting program. So this
is actually on the box here. Or there it is.
There you go. There's the badge there, right? So again, this is a way to get people started in with electric trains, and it's just a natural tie into scouting. Because scouts, as you know, they're involved with their hands, and history all plays into it. The history, electricity, construction, everything that you usually think of to start building a model railroad, the scouts are already doing. Mm-hmm. So anyway, just a great way to get people started.
Yeah, and this is our latest set. This is the BSA All-American. Just in terms of box design, I love this one. It's such a cool logo and
got a nice patriotic look, that's for sure.
It does, yeah. And this actually uses real imagery from the Boy Scouts of America used over the years in much of their advertising and stuff like that.
Correct. Most of these are, I think, Satari illustrations, and they're just iconic in the scouting world. I think most people will recognize many of these images.
And we've had some other scouting stuff in the line as well. We had a Pinewood Derby 40-foot boxcar.
Separate sail boxcar, yes.
We've got a 50-foot boxcar as well in the line. So if you want to start a scouting train set, you're not limited by just the train itself. You can also expand with some separate sail items as well.
Excellent.
So from scouting, we're moving to something entirely different, but somewhat related actually in some ways, which is Norman Rockwell.
Well, there's certainly a tie-in with the artwork.
That's
because
what I was going to say, yeah.
Norman Rockwell did many illustrations for the Boy Scouts of America over the years. And of course, he's well known for his Saturday Evening Post illustrations as well. So this particular train is the Freedom Train, And this is representing Norman Rockwell's, the series of paintings is called The Four Freedoms. And I don't, yeah, so there's freedom of, I'm going to have to read them off in order here: freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. And those were mentioned in a speech by President Roosevelt around the World War II era, and also, or more specifically, I think, Great Depression. It was, and so anyway, those paintings, Norman Rockwell illustrated those concepts as outlined by President Roosevelt, and they actually toured the company on this freedom train that went around the country a couple of times actually, but most notably to generate interest in buying war bonds for the World War II effort.
And the train's somewhat of a representation of the Freedom Train as well, which actually, right? It's it's not an exact representation, but it's celebrating the Freedom Train that ran in the
For the bicentennial.
For the bicentennial as well, yeah.
Correct. So yeah, again, nice patriotic colors, iconic imagery from Norman Rockwell, and there's a lot of interest in our Norman Rockwell sets that we also have in our Christmas offerings. So we have two sets there. Let's see, we have a battery-operated Christmas set and electric-operated Christmas set.
I'm seeing a couple of comments here that the volume's a little low for some people. Let me know if I'm going to try and turn it up here a little bit. Does this sound any better? Do we sound any clearer? Oh, let us know if you can't hear us or if we're too loud now. But otherwise, we'll keep going. So anyway, I'm sorry.
All right. So no, I was basically done with this, but this paint scheme is very true to the train as it actually traveled around the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was going to go on to the Norman Rockwell Christmas sets, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, sounds good. So we have some offerings in both. Well, this is a 0-30 scale, and this is a Christmas themed set. This is an electric passenger set. The other one. Do we have the other one?
No, I think we just have these.
Okay, that's fine. So, oops, I just bounced that all around. That's all right. So again, this is an 0-30 scale set, great for Christmas villages, the ceramic village sets.
It's actually very similar in scale to a lot of the ceramic villages that you can buy from places like Walmart and stuff like that.
Correct. Department 56 size as well. And these have lighted interiors on the cars, on the passenger cars. This illustration here is of Stockton, Massachusetts. And that's an iconic painting from Norman Rockwell, Main Street from Stockbridge, and as well as some other nice Christmas decorations on the combine, locomotive, and tender.
I think one of my favorite features of this set is the, let's see. Oh, it's actually not this. No, now I'm thinking of a different set. So we also have the streetcar set. I believe it's on that one where you've got Rockwell in the window of the streetcar.
Right. He's on the streetcar and he's smoking his pipe.
Yeah.
And that is actually a battery-operated set, also an 0-30. It's a reversing trolley set. Mm-hmm. So you can look for that online at bachmanntrains.com. Just download the PDF file of the catalog and you'll be able to find that in the 0-30 section.
And for anybody who doesn't know about what 0-30 is, so 0-30, I'm just going to move this down here so it's not fully covering me here. So 0-30 scale is O scale, narrow gauge. It runs on HO scale track. It represents mostly 3-foot gauge in prototypical narrow gauge terms. Like Doug said, it's pretty much perfectly scaled to work with the Christmas Department 56 buildings, ceramic structures and stuff like that, and it'll look great running on a mantelpiece or under a Christmas tree. It's kind of just about that perfect size for all that stuff.
Yeah, especially the out and back trolley system. Mm-hmm. Reversing trolley set, great for a mantelpiece. Doesn't take up much space, and you get the effect of the train running. And it's just a nice addition to any holiday scene.
Absolutely. So, from that, we move on to one of our newest license sets. that actually hasn't come out yet.
Correct. So this is the Elf on the Shelf train set. I think a lot of people will be familiar with the Elf on the Shelf story. And for those of you who don't know, Matt, why don't you explain the Elf on the Shelf concept, if you don't mind?
I will try my best.
Okay.
So the concept of the Elf on the Shelf is an elf comes down from the North Pole and goes into the house, the family's house, and sits on the shelf and basically monitors to see if the kids are being naughty or nice. And then we'll go back and report to Santa. You're not allowed to touch the elf. If you touch the elf, if the kid touches the elf, then the elf loses its magic and it doesn't get to report to Santa. And it's just a fun family tradition. It's a great game that kids can have with their parents can play with their kids. And this train is representative of that of the Elf on the Shelf.
The elf gets hidden in a different place every night, right?
Correct. Yeah,
that's part of the game. I don't know if you said that or not,
mm-hmm.
But we do have an elf figure in the set, so that can be it's a separate piece, and so that can be removed from the set, if you will, hidden, and that can be part of the play value of the set. But it also will sit nicely in the open gondola here. So as you can see, all the Elf on the Shelf graphics and additional elves, helper elves, and it's just a great extra set for Christmas that is very popular right now with kids and families.
Absolutely.
So this will be out for the fourth quarter. I think, I think it should be shipping fairly soon. I'm not sure. Definitely for fourth quarter. Anyway.
They should be on the shelves in time for Christmas.
So the Elf on the Shelf will in fact be on the shelf.
Yes.
Okay, we got it.
So that's a good overview of quite a few of our lines here. We do have Ringling Brothers and Bachmann Bailey as well. We can't forget about that.
Absolutely not.
Now I don't believe we have a separate sale set for that, but I'm going to go to the other camera here. We do have the pieces from our newest set, which is coming out later this year. So as many of you might know, Ringling Brothers and Bachmann Bailey is back. The Circus is back. It's touring once again, which we're very happy about. I got to see the show back, as you did too, back in when they were in Philadelphia here, and it was a really cool show.
We had a great time. Tyler Haney attended with us as well.
He did, yeah. Tyler, who I should say also, unfortunately, was not able to join us tonight, but he should be back on the next episode. So this is our new set, which is based around their new branding, their new colors for their return to touring once again. This is the F7 locomotive, which will be heading up the train in the set.
So the year 2023 is the road number, which is a little out of focus here, but that's representing the year that the Ringling Brothers Circus returned to touring.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll show you some other cars as well. Behind the locomotive is our boxcar, and again, these great new graphics from Ringling Brothers. Just a lot of fun stuff going on there.
And it should be noted, this is a pre-production set, so some of the colors are a little different to how they'll be in the production set. So I believe the silver roof on here will actually be red on the production model.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, thanks for remembering that.
Yeah, I love the vibrancy of their new look. The train looks really cool when you see it all together.
So here's one more. And a flat car with containers.
In the tradition of the classic Ringling Brothers circus train, you couldn't have a circus train without a car with containers.
All right, and lastly, of course, we have to do the caboose. No surprise there. All right.
I think not that I should have any bias because I love cabooses in general, but I think this is my favorite car on the train. The way the graphics look, the way the paint scheme turned out on it's just a really fun car.
I concur. I think that's a great way to end the Ringling Brothers set. And you know what? We're gonna have a run through right now.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
And this is going to be a hand powered run through.
Hand powered run through. Absolutely. If I can get this couple up on the end here, well, we'll have to just fake that. All right. It's goofy, but why not?
You got the locomotive. You got the 50-foot boxcar here, and you've got the flat car with containers.
All right, and that caboose is There we go. Good enough. Sorry about that at the end, but whatever. It sort of worked.
It did,
Just for
yeah.
fun.
It was a good demonstration. So, and that's just also one example of the products that we produce in our Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey licensed line. Doug's actually preparing another product here, which this one's actually available now in stores. So in addition to this, the set, which represents the return of the circus, we also produce a full line of cars for the original circus train that ran in the previous iteration of the show.
This car is a separate sale car. Obviously, it's an advertising car, as it says right there. But this is in the vintage style. So we have previous production for Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey in vintage themes and colors, and this goes along with that. So also new this year, I think we had a generator car.
Yeah, which actually I think I have the one sample of that in my office, and I didn't bring it in.
Yes.
So we'll show that one in a later episode.
I seem to have lost the focus on this for some reason.
I think that's just the That's just the frame rate on the on the wireless connection. It should get better.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
But yeah, this car is actually this was a real car that ran back in the I believe it was in the 50s and 60s on the circus or actually didn't run on the circus train. So this car would actually run on a train that came ahead of the circus train. When it would arrive in the next town that the circus was supposed to go to, it would be set out in the siding, and they would set it up both as a billboard for the fact that the circus was coming, and an information booth that people could stop by at and find out more about the circus before the circus train actually showed up in the town a few days later.
So there were people working on the train for long hours, and there are window coverings, as you can see, that are painted on there to indicate louvered or louvered window coverings, as they really did have them.
And this car is also lighted inside, and it looks really cool with those window coverings.
All right.
And these, as I said, are actually in stock now. So check BachmannTrains.com or your local Bachmann retailer. Is that all we have for Ringling Brothers right now?
That's it. I don't know if you want to go back to the Freedom Train at all to show them individually, or if we just want to move on.
We can show that. Yeah. So going back to Norman Rockwell for a second.
Sorry, I forgot these earlier. My bad.
We do have the. Let's turn it around the other way. This is a paint sample that has I think it has an error on the paint on that side.
Oh yeah.
This is an early paint sample of this model, but it'll definitely give you the idea of how the set looks. Like Doug said before, really nice patriotic scheme, representative of the scheme that the actual Freedom Train that ran in the late 40s, and then the bicentennial version as well.
All right, I'm just going to put in the baggage car here with the painting illustrations. I think maybe these close-ups will be nice. Well, let me get them back just a little bit.
There you go. You got the freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear.
And as I said, those are all classic Norman Rockwell illustrations.
If you're a fan of Americana, you can't get much more American than this.
Absolutely. And then lastly is the caboose.
Which again has a nice gold lettering and the eagle symbol on there.
You know, looks rather appropriate for the 4th of July celebrations coming up as well, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
All right. Thanks for indulging me and getting that on camera there. I wanted to show that as well.
No, that was definitely worth showing. So, yeah, just in addition to the Ringling Brothers items that we showed just now, we do have a whole other selection of Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey products in our line. We have a new steam locomotive coming out later this year, an 060, which will be in the new branding in the new Ringling Brothers colors. And we also have a lot of other items, like Doug mentioned, in the classic Ringling Brothers colors. We've got cars to make up pretty much a full passenger consist for the circus train as it was in the 90s and 2000s. We also have the flat car with containers, as you would see many strings of at the end of the train, and we also have some cars demonstrating some artwork and representing earlier eras of Ringling Brothers. You know, going back to the 1920s and 30s.
Correct.
So it's a very cool line.
Shall we move on over to Thomas?
I think we probably should. I think it's about that time.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So before we show anything in
Just
particular,
before we do, let's show on screen the just the size comparison for us here.
yeah.
So probably most people do know, but just in case, we do make 3 scales for Thomas and Friends. This is a large scale Percy. Just to give you an idea, we'll hold up the HO version, and we have an N scale version as well.
I'll bring that over here. Here we go. There you go.
So
Kind of looks like they're all like a few hundred feet apart from each other, but they're actually all lined up.
So this is just again to give you the size comparison. We have most of the most popular locomotives in all 3 scales now.
Mm-hmm.
By far, we have more locomotives in HO scale naturally, but the other lines are expanding all the time. And when I say 3 scales, there's 2 variations in HO scale. We have the HO standard gauge and HO narrow gauge. Mm-hmm. In the Thomas line. So
we have a couple of HO narrow gauge locomotives here. So this is Scarlowe, who I believe was the first. He was the first one on the line. Wasn't
it was. Yep, from the Scarlowe Railway, a narrow gauge mining line, and that is a popular element of the series for the Thomas and Friends stories.
And just like with the ON30 Norman Rockwell set that we showed earlier, these are HON30, which is in a similar fashion. It runs on N scale track instead of HO track. So you don't have to find any special track for this. All you need to do is just get some standard Bachmann N-scale easy track, and these will run just like an N-scale locomotive would.
All right, then I think if you don't mind, we'll just hold up a couple of quick samples here for some of our more recent HO versions.
Yeah, I can put it on the other camera if you like.
Well, let's do that when we're showing off these, if that works.
Sure.
All right. So that's Ryan. One of the more recent versions, or characters rather, and then I see the issue though. So yeah, let's go to the other camera.
All right,
sounds good. So here, this is Rebecca.
She's the latest one for us to have revealed with a full paint sample. She hasn't come out yet.
Right.
But we're very excited about this. She's a big engine. We know it's been a little while since we had a big engine in the HO line, so we're happy to bring her to the line.
Get her face in. It's too close to the camera. There we go. There's her face.
There you go. It's trying to focus.
It's bouncing all over the place. Oh well. So and there's her tender.
And just in terms of paint schemes, she has a really, really eye-catching paint scheme.
Yeah, absolutely, very, very bold. So all right, and then another one that we just started shipping. I'm going to show you is Bo. Bo is a little atypical in that. He was a character in, I think the movie was Big World, Big Adventures, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. But it's the only American-based prototype in the series.
I believe there are a couple others. There's one called Connor. There's a larger steam locomotive.
Okay, sorry about that.
But he is certainly the only classic American 440.
So he is available now, shipping now, and unlike our other HO scale locomotives, Bo does not have moving eyes. All of our other HO scale locomotives have moving eyes. The eyes scan back and forth as the train travels down the track, but Bo does not. He's based on our standard 440 tooling, and we couldn't put the moving eye mechanism in the existing tooling. But as a bonus, he does have an operating headlight, which is unique to this locomotive in our line.
Yeah.
So there's Bo. And then we're going to show a couple pieces of rolling stock, some wagons here.
Yeah, so these are actually new samples that we just got in recently. I believe, Doug, you did show them on the last Thomas Tuesday with Train World.
I did.
We'll show them again now because they're just so good. We got to show them again.
All right, this is a 12-ton van. We have 4 versions of this. This is a gray version, and just a note on all these, the ones that I'm showing you are early paint samples, and the handles on these, the door handles, will be painted in the body color to match. So that, as I said, that'll go for all of them. So a 12-ton van, and this is just a great way to add a rolling stock style to your consist. So you have more varieties in your wagons. We do have a large selection of wagons and passenger cars in the Thomas line, but it's always good to have more.
Absolutely.
This is our Christmas version.
So from a Christmas themed episode, I think it was called Hunt the Truck, where they were trying to find this wagon.
And just as a note, this is the only separate sale Christmas wagon we have in the Thomas and Friends line. Everything else that's branded for Christmas is in a set. So it's nice to have a separate sale Christmas wagon.
And if you buy our Thomas Saves Santa's Sleigh HO set, that'll look fantastic with that.
Absolutely.
Which you can kind of see in the background there. A little bit out of focus, but the set's back there.
All right, we might have to pull that out later at the end or something.
I think we should.
All right, and here is a funfair van, a Circus wagon, which is nice and colorful. And both the sides of this, the two sides are decorated a little differently. The angles of the white stripes and the blue and the yellow are in opposite directions.
And the funny thing is, when we were developing this, I never caught that. I mean, it's correct,
Absolutely.
but I never noticed it.
It's just, we have to have them for comparison. So, all right, there's the funfair blue, and then we have a funfair red version. Again, same thing for the difference in the sides.
Another cool feature of these, which I think is unique to these cars, at least in the rolling stock line, or in the freight rolling stock line in HO, is the white walls on the wheels. It really
Absolutely
helps them stand out.
All right. So I'm going to show you next. Just these are in development, not out yet, but will be coming very soon. I think we'll show you. This is Henrietta. This is N scale. So we went from HO, now we're going to N scale. This is Henrietta. Oh, it's going to be tough to see her face in there, but that's all right. Let me get her in focus.
There you go.
All right. There she is. So this is coming out later this year. I don't think there's any way we're going to get light in there. All right, there's Henrietta. We have N-scale Gordon coming out later this year as well.
We know people are very excited for this one.
Yes, indeed.
And I believe last time I checked, because I have seen some of the comments. Now just a note on the comments. I know a lot of people are asking questions, so we are going to have a Q&A at the end of the show. So we'll do our best to scroll back and find some of these questions. But if you have any, when we get to that section, by all means, write in your questions again at that point. Make sure we see them. Now the question that I'm seeing a lot, though, is, of course, when is Gordon coming in N-scale? And I believe last time I checked, he was coming in sometime this fall. So we're not too far off now.
I think he might be fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But he is definitely coming this year. So he's looking good. And then also joining Gordon in the N-scale line is N-scale Emily. All right.
Now, as a prototype modeler, I have to say this one's probably one of my favorites, because not only is this the first model of Emily in N-scale, this is the first model of a Stirling single, which is the type of locomotive she is, that's ever been produced in N-scale. So we're very excited to be able to not only bring Emily to the market, but bring the first ever Stirling single to the market.
Absolutely. So, and I'm very, very pleased with the way our new N-scale products have been coming out, whether it's Gordon or Emily. And then I'm going to show off Emily's coaches here. I think they're just great, accurate additions. And I want you to give us N-scale Thomas there too, just to show him in there as well.
There you go. And it shows how massive her middle wheel is there when you see her next to Thomas.
That's right. Get a family photo going here. Oh, well, it's not going to quite work, but you get the idea. All right,
it's a good-looking bunch.
Then to go along with Emily, we have her coaches. So I just hit the camera. Sorry about that, guys and gals. There's this is Emily's coach, and then her brake coach as well.
Very nice.
Makes up a nice train there.
Absolutely. Now, those six-wheel passenger cars are also fairly unique in N scale as well. So, all in all, it's just a very unique N scale train.
Gotta like the look of that. So that's it for just sort of review, things that we have shown before, and to give people a good idea of our overall lines for regular licensed product and Thomas and Friends in particular. And then we do have a reveal.
We do.
So I think I'm going to let you do some talking about this, but I'll be happy to show it off.
All right.
So this is our new HO narrow gauge high side gondola. Ready, Matt?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
All right. So, as you can tell, it's an unpainted sample. But yeah, if you angle it to the light, you can see some of the detail here. So this is, like Doug said, this is the high side wagon. We're going to be offering this in 3 colors, and it represents a type of car that you'll see pretty much all over the Blue Mountain Quarry on the Skarloey Railway. It's really nice, vibrant car. It's got a lot of detail in it. You've got a lot of riveting you can see there. You've got the number plate on there, and if you turn it around to the front, you'll see it has a really nice end door there for loading, complete with hinges, and it even has the what do you call
Chain
it?
mechanism?
The chain mechanism, exactly. Yeah.
All right.
And then if you turn it around to the other side,
Other end or side?
or the other side, so there's the other
Okay.
end without the door on it, just to compare. If you turn
Okay,
it
you
around
want the
to
brake side?
the opposite
Okay.
side, you've got the brake handle there as well, which I think is a fantastic little detail, and you've even got the
I'm going to try and
brake
show it.
rigging underneath the car there as
Yeah,
well.
it's- Just get a hint of it there. It's the lighting is not really allowing us to show that very well, but you get a hint of the brake rigging underneath. I'm going to try and tip it in to see the interior detail as well.
Yep, you've got slatted wood floors in there. And I do see a question asking whether it's going to have a removable load. We don't have that planned for this release because we want to make sure that people can fill it up with their own load of whatever they want it to haul.
All right, there we go. There's also some, I'm not going to be able to show it, but some support structure that goes down on the sides, but I can't show that with the lighting.
It's a very cool little wagon.
Absolutely.
And it's got see-through spokes on the wheels as well, which is a nice feature.
How about we line this up behind, which locomotive would you like in narrow gauge?
Let's see. I think let's do Reneus.
Alrighty. Here he is.
Or Renius, as we've been told, it's actually pronounced in Welsh.
That just gives you a size comparison, and it's going to make up a nice looking train. So this goes with. We also have the slate wagons in narrow gauge. There's a box van, brake van, passenger cars.
Mm-hmm.
We have a coach and 2 different styles of coaches.
Mm-hmm. And we also have another type of gondola coming out in addition to this as well, which we don't have a sample of yet, but the narrow gauge line is continuing to grow.
So that's it, I think. Unless you want to show that Thomas set for.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that. If you wanna grab it, I'll.
Yeah, you want to do the switch?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So this is one of several Thomas sets that we've offered throughout our license time with the Thomas and Friends brand.
Absolutely. So we have a basic set with Thomas and Annie and Clarabelle. We have another freight set that has a coaling station or an ore tower in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with some special troublesome trucks and with a special paint scheme for the loads. And then we have this Christmas set as well with Thomas Saves Santa's sleigh, and there's the sleigh from the episode is just hovering over a flat wagon there.
And you might just be able to see him, but you've got Santa Claus riding in the back of the brake van there as well.
Can we get any light in there?
No, you can see him in the picture.
Okay, there you go. That'll work. So anyway, just wanted to show you that in HO scale. Of course, all these sets that we showed you for any of the licensed products are complete, ready to run train sets with train, track, power pack as you would expect. And again, we want to get people started in model railroading.
Absolutely. All right, so with that being pretty much everything we have to show for this episode, I think it's time to open it up to some questions. So I'm going to try and scroll back through here and see some of the questions I know I saw coming past that we may have missed. And if you have any questions in the meantime, we'll try and answer those as well. Let's see, so this is a good question. It says, how do you decide which characters come out in the Thomas line and who do you want to see in the line? All right, so I'm going to answer this. I'm going to answer this in two. I think I'm assuming you're asking what do we want to personally see in the line. That's an interesting question, isn't it? What's your answer for that? Being Mr. Thomas.
Well, we would like to see every character in the Thomas line. That's the easy answer, but practically we can't do everything all at once. So we have to balance what we think will be most popular in 3 different scales now. So we have N, HO, and large scale. So we have to apportion our tooling between those or among those scales accordingly. So we can't do everything. We try and get to as much as we can, but it takes time to build the lines. So that's the short answer.
It is, and I think another good perspective on it is you want each new edition to have its time in the spotlight too.
Correct.
The question here as well we have is do we get to see Stanley? We do not have a sample of Stanley yet, but I would say watch this space because we'll hopefully have something to show very soon. Duncan, we're still working on. He's still under development, but as we have information to share, we will absolutely share it. Let me see if we have any more comments down here. Let's see. Could you please show the 12-ton vans behind Thomas for a size comparison? I think we can do that.
Surely. Here's Thomas.
I'll move it back to the other camera here.
All right. What do you think? Funfair vans?
It's got to be the Funfair vans.
Okay. All right, let me take this guy away. We're going to split up the colors here.
While Doug is assembling this, I'm seeing another question here. Are there any updates on Sir Handel? Nothing to speak of right now, but again, it's one of those things where expect to see something in the fairly near future.
All right, I'm just going to show them straight in there for basic size comparison.
There you go. So you've got a pretty similar roof height there.
I'll angle just a little bit.
Buffers are aligned.
All right.
And they look pretty good together. That's gonna make a really nice, vibrant train.
Absolutely. Very sharp looking.
So also seeing another question about Stanley here, if there's an ETA for him. So Stanley's probably maybe fourth quarter, sometime this winter is most likely.
He should, yeah. He's going to be. He'll probably get shipped late this year.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what else we have here. Any news on the defused gunpowder wagon for the narrow gauge line? No news to share right now, but we're excited to see that one come out because that's going to be a fun wagon. We've got two other paint schemes in addition to defuse it as well to make a longer train. Seeing questions here about whether we can bring certain characters to the line. I think Doug kind of covered that already a little bit, but we're always working to bring more characters to the line. Like you said, we can't do them all at once, but we will continue to churn them out as we can.
That is the answer.
So this person says, would Bachmann ever consider making buffers for the Thomas and Friends line? That's a good idea. Making I assume an easy track buffer would be that would be an interesting addition to the line.
I think that's a good idea as well.
Let's see what else we have here. We're probably going to miss a ton of questions here because we're getting a lot of them, but like I said, I'm going to do the best to go through and answer them here. Do we have any updates for the Thomas figure pack? The figures, HO scale figures, are again, they're a work in progress right now. We're hopefully getting close to the point where we can, do some sort of reveal and show something on social media, but we're not quite there yet. But we're getting closer.
It's with apologies. It's just a slow project, but we are making steady progress all the time. So as Matt said, we're hoping to have something to show. Just please be patient.
We're trying to make sure that they're as accurate as they can possibly be.
Correct.
And again, seeing a lot of questions here about prototypical locomotives, asking if there's any possibility of some prototype locomotives we've either produced in the past or we haven't produced. And again, kind of similar to the Thomas locomotives, I think the best line is we'd love to make every train that's ever been made. We just can't do it all at once. So we're always looking for new ideas. If there's something that you and a lot of other people would be interested in seeing, definitely reach out to us at info@bachmanntrains.com. Let us know what you're interested in seeing come to the line, and if you know other people who want the same thing, have them email us as well, because the more people who ask, the more we know that there's demand for that product in the market. Let's see. Got a question about what about N-scale Gordon's box, since he is bigger than all the rest. He'll be coming in this. I assume he's coming in the standard jewel case that the others.
Yeah.
Come in. His will just be a little bit longer.
Right.
Let's see.
That's an easy one. We need more easy questions.
All right. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through here. You guys are awesome. You're sending a lot of questions here. So would you guys ever consider making the Thomas Christmas set, but for N-scale? Certainly a possibility. We don't have an N-scale Thomas set for Christmas yet. So
seems like a natural extension.
Yeah.
It may take a little time, but again, a good idea.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any plans for any Baltimore and Ohio equipment, especially steam locomotives? I guess we'll have to wait and see. I wish I could be more specific, but I would say watch that space. Any plans for chassis system GP38s? So we actually, I'm not sure what scale you're referring to, but in N scale, we actually do have a chassis DCC ready GP38 coming out that we added in our catalog last year. Hasn't been released yet, but we just actually, if you go to our Facebook page, we just showed off the first sample of that at the N-Scale convention last week. Seeing some interest for Strasbourg Railroad models. Again, that'll be something, we know there's some demand for that. That'd be an interesting thing to see. That we'll take that under consideration. As with many other railroads that are popular these days. Any news on the old-time 460s in N-scale? So those are still in development right now. So in our last live stream, Tyler actually expanded a little bit about what's going on with those. So they're trying over in product development to work out the smoothest mechanism for it and make sure that all the details can be accurate for the version that we're producing. It's taking a little bit longer than expected due to some of the size challenges of working in such a small scale, but it is under development, and I would say if you go back to our last episode, you'll get a little bit more of a longer answer on that. And just as again, for products that we've produced in the past, I know there's a lot of interest in seeing things that we've had before. I'm seeing one about the K4s here, for instance, in N-scale. Anything that we've produced before has a fairly good likelihood of coming back at some point. We'll cycle through models. There's only so much that the factory can give us at a time. If something's been in our line before, there's a fairly good likelihood that it'll make a return at some point in some form. But we can't say when. see.
Did a
Oh,
good
this is
job with these questions. They're on your side. I can't read across the screen.
yeah. So that, if anybody's wondering why I'm the only one answering, it's because yeah, we've got the questions in one corner, and that corner is closest to me. If you want to swap over, you can.
No, you're doing a great job.
All right, here's one for you.
Uh-oh.
All right, what rolling stock does Doug like that you have made this year or are planning to make? So I guess in simpler terms, what is your favorite item that we have in the line right now that's a recent release or is one that we've just announced recently?
Does it have to be Thomas and Friends?
It doesn't specify.
Okay. Well, I mean, the easy answer is, and I know we just showed them, but I love the Funfair vans. I just think they're awesome colors. They're fun additions. One of my other all-time favorites is the N scale. No, I'm sorry, the narrow gauge passenger cars.
Yeah,
I think those are really one of my favorites.
those are
And
nice
part of
cars.
that is some of the memories I've had of going with our former vice president of product development, Lee Riley, to measure for those cars at the Teleflin Railroad. And it was a great trip to do that, and I just have such great memories of actually going to do that, and that those memories are represented in those cars. So that means a lot to me.
I think you've just summed up one of the best things about model railroading in general, which is the sentimentality of seeing these things brought to life that you've experienced in some form and at some point in your life that may or may not even be in existence in reality anymore, but that you can recreate it in scale form.
That is a big part of model railroading, the memories and what you see when you're young, and as you said, representing that in later life. So anyway, that's. It makes me feel good thinking about it right now.
So, in the same question that the person has also asked, and you in the blue shirt. So I assume that's me. Doug's kind of in a blue shirt.
The light
too.
blue or the dark blue?
Yeah. So I'll answer the question as well. So in the Thomas and Friends line, in terms of recent releases, I'm a big fan of Rebecca. Like I said, I think her paint scheme is really eye-catching, and it's a model of a locomotive type that, in reality, I'm a big fan of because I dabble in some British model railroading as well in the southern region, which is where the prototype for a locomotive comes from, is my area of preference. So anything that's got a southern railway appearance, I'm going to be a fan of. And in terms of non-Thomas products. Oh boy, we've announced and released so much stuff in the last year. I mean, probably the Phase 7 LC42s.
I knew it was going to be an Amtrak product.
It's got to be an Amtrak product.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But a close second to that would be the Acela 2. Very excited to see those arrive sometime this winter. All right, let's move on to something. I'm sure we've had a few more questions arrive since we started talking about that one there. Let's see. I'm having a couple of questions about whether there's going to be a Thomas Tuesday. There's not one scheduled for this week, is there?
No, there's none in July. So I assume there will be one in August again, but I'm not sure. I don't plan them, so that's really a question for Train World.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Any updates on Bolgi? Bolgi is still in the design process right now. Again, we'll as soon as we have something to show for him, we will absolutely show it on social media. So just again, watch this space for him. Let's see. Would Edward or Henry be next for N-Scale? I guess you guys will just have to wait and see. Can't give away everything.
That's right. A little mystery is okay.
Let's see.
Some serious scrolling there, man.
Yes, we've got a lot of questions to cover here. We've got one question asking about HO scale Western Maryland scenic railroad equipment, such as 1309 or 734. Nothing to speak of right now. Obviously we have produced the Chesapeake and Ohio Malleys before. They're a little different to the configuration of 1309, so it's not something that's necessarily on the cards right now. But you never know what might happen in the future. Anything is possible. Same for 734. One thing I will tell you though is we do have a full dome car that we just released. It actually just arrived in stores, I think, within the last couple of months. Which is painted for the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. It's based on the full dome that they ran in the 2021 to 2022 season, which was the former Amtrak Ocean View. Very cool car. Looks very striking in the, I guess, the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad's adaptation of the Circus scheme. So we do have that in the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad line. All right, let's see. So we've got a question about the stock status for Thomas and Friends in Bachmann, UK. So they handle that separately from us.
Correct.
So any question regarding the Thomas and Friends line on their end would have to go through Bachmann, UK. Got a question here from the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. How can we get involved and get some of our trains made? Well, if you'd like to email us at info@bachmanntrains.com, we can continue that conversation.
And thank you for the inquiry.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, we got a question about the ETA for Rebecca. Rebecca, I believe, is she fourth quarter or is she later in the winter? I'm not sure.
I think she's going to be fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, okay. So should be here sometime between the fall and winter, hopefully. Let's see. All right, we did answer the question about Strasburg Railroad, but it looks like your internet connection may have dropped out, so I will answer it again, which is, we're aware of there's a lot of interest and love for the Strasburg Railroad, and it's certainly it's certainly a possibility that we can look into.
And just for us, I mean, it is a great railroad to go visit.
It is. It's nice and close.
It's close to us in Philadelphia, but if you ever have a chance to go down to ride that train, it's a great experience. And the Pennsylvania State Railroad Museum is across the way. It's just a good day to get down there and see those things. So I would encourage you, for maybe you have some time off this summer, try and go and enjoy yourself at the Strasburg Railroad.
So another question here about, will there be a roundhouse add-on bay in the future? Now, we have produced those in the past. They're not in the line right now, I don't think. But there may very well still be stock out there at retail stores or online. So I would go back. I think last year they may still have been in our catalog. If you can go to our website, you can find our catalog from last year, look up the item number, and I would recommend doing a web search because there's a very good chance that you still may be able to find one out there. So it's a question, will there be a DCC train set that is as large as the Overland Limited, where it has 9 freight cars? That would be a mammoth train set, and unfortunately, the price would also be mammoth for a DCC set like that. So I don't know how good the chances are for that, but we'll certainly keep it under consideration.
That's a tough ask.
It is. It would be cool.
It would
be
cool.
Very cool.
Absolutely, but like you said, that would make it a very expensive set.
Yeah.
You can always buy everything separate sale, make up your own set.
Exactly.
So just the fact that it's not in a set shouldn't hold you back from making up a great train.
It's a very good point. All right. Now, just as a heads up, we're approaching 7 o'clock on the East Coast here, so we may have to end this before all the questions are answered. But we'll make sure to go back and hopefully answer some via social media after the show within the next couple of days if we can. But for now, I will just scroll through a little bit more and see if there are any other questions that we can answer.
Lots of questions.
Lots and lots of questions. Wow. Yeah. I think this may be the most popular show for questions yet. And it's all because Doug Blaine is on the show.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. It's a great team effort all the time. You and Tyler do a great job on this show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's certainly been a process. It's been a learning curve, but it's been good. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know, Matt.
I don't know.
My stomach is starting to say I'm hungry.
All right. I like this question. I don't know how feasible it is for us to do, but I certainly like it. Is there any chance we can do a Henry's Tunnel set with Henry and a brick wall to brick him up, like the sad story of Henry?
Right. I think a safe answer on that is probably not. But there's modeling opportunities.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, and by all means, there are certainly tunnel portals out there, and we do make Henry in a show scale. So if you want to make that scene, by all means, go for it and share a picture of it with us, because we would definitely share that on social media. That's a cool idea.
That would be a winner.
Let's see. So I have one question here about somebody who's experiencing a problem with their 462 gears and they need help. So if you reach out to our service department, we've got a great team here who will be more than happy to help you out and let you know what your next steps would be for a repair. So you can reach them at service@bachmanntrains.com by email, or you can reach them by calling us at our Bachmann number, which I don't know offhand. Do you know it offhand?
Well, it's just the regular number, but I don't know the extension. So,
Right.
But the best way is by email.
Yeah.
Or there's the registration or the inquiry that you can do online, right?
Yeah. So right
That's
now
really the best
we're
way, I
actually
think.
working on updating that right now. So
Okay.
that's not online right now. So email will be your best
Sorry.
bet. And yeah, I mean, while you can reach us by phone, our service techs, they're always hard at work. So your best bet for getting a prompt answer will be by email. All right, let's see. All right, it is 7 o'clock now, so I think I'm going to find one more question to answer here, and then we're gonna call it a night. All right, let's see. I won't make this the last question, but somebody suggested we do a collaboration with John Oliver in Last Week Tonight. I assume in reference to the Henry being bricked up behind the wall.
Oh yeah.
I think he's already covered that well enough.
Right.
All right, let's see. I'm seeing. Let's see. With the upcoming Tallow Flynn licensed locomotives, is there any chance of a train set? You never know. That's not a bad idea. We have which I didn't bring up specifically. They don't really fall under the category of licensed products that we've been talking about today. But certainly, since we've been talking about Thomas, there's a strong connection there.
Mm-hmm.
So we are producing HON 30 prototypical Tallow Flynn locomotives and cars. We have the Tallow Flynn locomotive in three paint scheme variations that it's worn throughout its life. Which should be arriving hopefully also in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is going to be fun.
It's going to be busy.
And we also have as we announced in our catalog last winter, we have the passenger cars as well. We have two variations of the Tallow Flynn Railway passenger cars. So you will have some cars for your Tallow Flynn locomotive to pull. So we're excited to bring some prototypical Welsh narrow gauge to our range, and who knows, a train set might be a possibility in the future.
It's a good idea.
And with that, I think we're going to wrap it up.
Sounds good. Thanks to all our viewers out there for joining us this evening. And Matt, thanks for having me as a guest.
You know what? You should probably just come in again tomorrow. Why not?
You come in tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like an idea too.
All right. All right. Thanks a lot, and we will see you next time.
Good night, everyone.